Hello and welcome everyone. In physical properties, we discussed about the appearance of the metals, the physical, the properties, the external appearance, the external behavior of metals and non-metals. Now it's time to discuss the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So, chemical properties. We are going to study chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Before going to the topic, I have written something here. See, this is the reactivity series. In science, we have some patterns, we have some law, and we have to follow those laws to study the behavior of something. Okay, so this is the reactivity series. Here, how we will, why I have written like this? First two metals are potassium and sodium. So here, the first two metals, potassium and sodium, are highly reactive metals. When we will, these are in the decreasing order of the reactivity. When we will start moving down, the reactivity start decreasing. Means these two are more reactive, middle they are less reactive, and when we will reach at the bottom, Ag is silver, Au is gold. Gold is the least reactive metal. So here I can say gold is the least reactive metal. Okay. So from from the beginning to the end, you should focus in this reactivity series. So now what in this we will discuss about how metals will react with oxygen, with water, with acid, bases. These things we are going to discuss in this topic. So first we will see metals react with oxygen. One more thing before starting this, you should always remember, when metals react with oxygen, we get metal oxide. So, when any metal react with oxygen, metal oxide is obtained. Okay, this you should keep in mind. Now, I will write few examples and we will see the reaction. Okay, first is sodium. Sodium, when reacts with oxygen, gives rise to sodium oxide. Here this is sodium, oxygen, this is sodium oxide. Next is magnesium plus oxygen gives us MgO. So when I am writing the equation, somewhere I will write the skeletal equation, sometimes balanced equation. So I am not teaching you, I am not making you learn how to do the balancing and all. I will just write the equations like this. So this is magnesium and oxygen gives us magnesium oxide. Then next is, let's take copper. This is copper. This is oxygen. This is copper oxide. Then we can take zinc. Now let's discuss sodium. Here sodium is the most reactive metal, I said. The sodium has the property that it is so highly reactive that without burning, only when sodium is exposed to air, and air contains oxygen. Okay, air contains oxygen. When any metal reacts with oxygen, what first thing comes in our mind? That means any particular element is burning, because when the oxygen is present, then only burning takes place, right? Similarly, when sodium is just exposed to air, it starts burning vigorously. Violently it will start burning. Okay, it catches fire immediately. That's why sodium is always stored inside a kerosene, because kerosene is free of air and water. So this is the property of sodium. So here, balance. So sodium, when reacts with oxygen, gives rise to sodium oxide. Next, magnesium, when combines with oxygen, gives magnesium oxide. Here, if you keep magnesium in oxygen, in presence of oxygen, it will not burn. You have to heat it. Okay, when you will heat, how you will heat? You might have studied in your 7th class, or if you can do it in your laboratory also, in your chemistry lab also. Like, take magnesium ribbon and burn it. When you will burn the ribbon, what will happen? You will obtain ash. That ash is magnesium oxide. Okay, like this we can get magnesium oxide. Now next is copper plus oxygen. When copper combines with oxygen, copper oxide is formed. Here you can't see the burning process, but this oxide will become black in color. Next, zinc, when reacts with oxygen. Here with just heating it, you will not get oxide. Here you need a strong heat. Okay, and so you are getting zinc oxide. So in all the cases, what we are obtaining? We are obtaining oxide. So our statement that metal, when reacts with oxygen, gives us metal oxides. So this is more reactive, this is less reactive. Again, these are very less reactive as compared to sodium. So what we have concluded from here, that when any metal react with oxygen, metallic oxide is obtained. Now, have you ever seen iron when exposed to air, or if any iron vessel, iron or iron stool or iron chair kept outside and left outside for a long time, what happened? Rusting takes place. What is that rusting? How is that rusting takes place? How it looks? We will see just now. Okay, so now we will read rusting of iron. Rusting takes place. So how is the appearance of rusting? Reddish brittle coating will be seen on the surface of the iron object. Okay, that is rusting. So when iron vessel or iron container or iron chair are exposed to moist air means that air contains water also. Okay, if you can say if dry ice is there, how rusting will be there? Maybe on the iron surface, iron object, water will be there. So when those react with iron, rusting takes place. So quickly we will see what is the equation, chemically how they react. So this is iron is Fe plus O2 plus H2O gives us FeOH whole 3. Okay, FeOH whole 3. So here we will quickly balance it. This will be 6. This is 12. So this will be 3. 4, 4, 3, 3, 6. Okay, this is a balanced equation. When iron reacts with oxygen and water, iron hydroxide is formed. Iron hydroxide is formed. Okay. This iron hydroxide, when it is left for some time and when it dehydrates, what is the meaning of dehydrates? Dehydrates means loss of water content. Dehydrates means loss of water content. When there is loss of water content, it becomes Fe2O3 NH2O. It forms Fe2O3 NH2O, and this is rust. This is reddish, brittle coating on the surface of iron vessel. This is how rusting takes place. I hope it is clear to you. Now, there is a question. Is rusting takes place only in iron? No. We can see rusting in copper also. Can you guess how? Yes. When copper vessel is exposed to moist air, what happens? In iron we are seeing a reddish brittle coating on the surface of iron. In copper we can see greenish coating will be developed on the surface of the copper. That is rusting in copper. Now we will see. Rusting of copper. So here what we are seeing, copper plus O2 plus CO2 plus water gives us CuOH whole 2 plus CuCO3. So this is copper hydroxide, which is in greenish color. And copper hydroxide and copper carbonate is formed when copper reacts with moist air. So here we have seen rusting of iron. The reddish brittle coating on the surface of the iron is called rusting, and the greenish color on the surface of the copper, when copper is exposed to moist air, we can see the rusting in copper. Now we have already seen the reaction of metal with oxygen. Now the question is, are these metal oxides acidic or basic in nature? So now the question is, how do we find whether the metal oxide are acidic in nature or basic in nature? We will do a very simple test, simple paper test, that is called litmus paper test. We will perform litmus paper test to know whether metallic oxides are acidic in nature or basic in nature. In litmus paper test, there are two types of paper. One is red litmus paper and next another one is blue litmus paper. So in this what we have to do, we have to make the solution of metal oxides. But again, all metal oxides do not dissolve in water. Again note that all metal oxides do not dissolve in water, and but very few dissolve in water, and the one which dissolve in water are called alkali. Again I want to repeat that to do the litmus paper test, we need to make the solution of the metal oxides, and all the oxides do not dissolve in water, right? Very few dissolve in water. The one which dissolves in water, the metal oxides, we can say the metal oxides which dissolves in water are called alkali. Okay children? Fine. Now, let's come back to litmus paper test. In this, we will make solution of metallic oxides, and then we will dip the paper in that. Suppose if we will dip red paper, red litmus paper, and if it turns to blue, means that oxide is a base. If blue litmus paper turns red color, then it is an acid. Let's check it. Suppose we take magnesium. Okay. Mg plus O2 gives us MgO, here 2, here 2. Again to make the solution, what we will do? We will burn the magnesium ribbon, and then whatever ash we are getting, that ash is magnesium oxide. You dissolve that magnesium oxide in water. Okay, when you dissolve that magnesium oxide in water, whatever solution you are getting, solution of magnesium oxide, solution you are getting, you dip red litmus paper. You dip red litmus paper in it. When you will dip red litmus paper, what will happen? The litmus paper will turn blue. The litmus paper will turn blue. So, we can say when red litmus paper turns blue, means it is basic in nature. Okay, so you will get, if you will think that only with magnesium we are getting it, when the red litmus paper is changing to blue, then with any metal if you do, you will get the same result. You can do with iron also. Iron, that rust, with the rust part you can do it, because it is brittle, means you can make it in a powder form. So mix it in water with a little amount of water, and to high extent you mix it, because it will not get dissolved properly. So continuously you mix it, get the solution of that rust and water, and dip the red litmus paper in it. What will happen? The litmus paper will turn blue, means all metallic oxides are basic in nature. Okay, this one. Now we have done this. Now next we will see reaction of non-metals. reaction of non-metals with oxygen. Yes, when any non-metal reacts with oxygen, there also metal oxide is obtained. Means any non-metal reacts with, combined with oxygen, we get oxide. We get oxide only. Like few examples we can write. Sulfur plus O2 gives us sulfur oxide. Carbon plus O2 gives us carbon dioxide. Here we get gas. Here also we get gas. So all are in gaseous state. Okay. So these are few examples when so here sulfur when combines with oxygen we get sulfur oxide gas. Carbon when reacts with oxygen we get carbon dioxide gas. Okay. Now next step is we have to check whether these non-metals, oxides, whatever we are getting are acidic or basic. Again we will perform the same experiment, that is litmus paper test. For that what we have to do? We have to make the solution of these oxides. Okay. So SO2. So these oxides when react with water, we will get H2SO3. H2SO3, and later on I will write the name. Now carbon dioxide when react with H2O we get H2CO3. Now I am not going to write the name, because if I write the name you will get the answer. So first we will do the test. Why these are reacting with water? Because we need a solution. Okay. Actually this is in a gaseous form. Okay. So how you will do the experiment? How you will make the solution? You take one beaker. In this you put this sulfur, and sulfur in presence of oxygen will start burning. Okay, will start burning. Then what you do when sulfur will come in presence of oxygen, what will happen? You have to put the lid over here, and fumes will be formed here. Gases will be formed. Then with one hole you put water in it, H2O in it. So you will get the solution of this H2SO3 solution you will get. So from here then you put the litmus paper. If you will put the blue litmus paper, what will happen? Blue litmus paper will turn to red. If blue litmus paper turns red, means they are acidic in nature. They are acidic in nature. So non-metal oxides, whatever we are getting, they are acidic in nature when react with oxygen. Now here when sulfur dioxide reacts with water, we get sulfurous acid. We get sulfurous acid. When carbon dioxide reacts with water, we get carbonic acid. So this is how we got to know how the metals and non-metals react with oxygen, and they are in which they are acidic or basic in nature with a simple litmus paper test. Now come to reactivity part. Here what we have seen that potassium and sodium are means different metals react differently in nature. Okay, so here what we have seen, potassium and sodium, they are they are very highly reactive metals. They react vigorously in presence when exposed to air. Okay, so whenever we are doing experiment, you are children are supposed to do the such kind of experiment only in the presence of teacher. Okay, so these burns vigorously, and when we will come down like this silver, copper, especially copper, silver, gold, they do not react at all. Okay, they do not especially copper and silver, they do not react. Like you can take example of, when we will talk about gold, you can take example of Golden Temple in Amritsar. It is made of gold and it's a very old temple, but no reaction took place in that. Even it is exposed to the atmosphere, no reaction is taking place. That's why means ornaments are made up of gold only, because no reaction takes place. Okay, we can say like this. Then most of the metals like aluminium, zinc, lead, all these metals, Mg, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, lead, all these metals also do not react, because they develop a very thin layer. They are covered with a very thin layer of oxide, which do not react with the oxygen. Okay, so these are non-reacting metals. Again, calcium also react with oxygen, but the reaction is very slow as compared to potassium and sodium. So this is how the reactivity, we can see the reactivity of the metals from potassium to gold. So I hope you have understood this reaction of non-metals with oxygen, reaction of metals with oxygen. So again, in metals, when metal react with oxygen, metallic oxide is formed. If non-metals react with oxygen, again oxide is formed. We will see, now we will discuss reaction with water. Before we saw reaction with oxygen, now we will see reaction with water. Let's take one example. Na plus, before that, just a small thing. When metals react with water, water can be hot or cold. Okay, we will get hydroxide. Means we will get metal hydroxide. We will get metal hydroxide. When metals react with water, either hot or cold, we will obtain metal hydroxide. When metals react with steam, we will get metal oxide. This is the very important points which you need to remember. When metals react with water, we get metal oxide. When metals react with steam, we will obtain metal oxide. Okay, now first example we'll take. Na plus H2O gives us NaOH plus H2 plus heat energy plus, this is H2 gas, so it will be followed by arrow, H2 gas plus heat energy. Okay, this is sodium when reacts with water. Sodium is so reactive that it catches fire when exposed to air, as well as when it combines with water, it catches fire. That's why sodium is kept into kerosene. Okay. So what happens here when suppose here in a beaker water is there and a grain size sodium. If you will put a grain size sodium, what will happen? It will start burning. Okay, it will start burning. In this, what will happen? Hydrogen gas is evolved. Okay, hydrogen gas is liberated. So when you will touch the container also, the container will become super hot. Okay. So here what happens? Exothermic reaction is taking place. Okay. So here we were talking about this is the reaction. Yes. Now it's a balanced one. 2Na plus 2H2O gives us 2NaOH plus H2 plus heat energy is evolved here. So when hydrogen reacts with water, what happened? Sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen gases evolved. Now next one, potassium plus H2O gives us KOH plus H2 again plus heat energy. Heat energy. 2, 2, 2. Okay. So potassium plus water gives us potassium hydroxide. This is, we can write here, sodium hydroxide, and this is potassium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas plus heat is evolved. Again, potassium is also highly reactive metal. So when combined with oxygen, it burns vigorously. Violently it burns. Okay. So these are the properties. Now few other examples also we will take. I hope you have understood this. Okay. Now if we will take magnesium, third experiment. Magnesium when reacts with H2O gives us MgO, okay, plus H2 gas. Here this H2 is steam. Okay, magnesium when reacts with steam, H2O means not water. Here magnesium is reacting with steam. Then what will be formed? Metal oxide. Magnesium oxide plus hydrogen gases evolved. Okay. Now this one. Now when magnesium is reacting with H2O, means this is hot water. Okay. What will happen? Now, fourth one. See, we will balance it. Okay. this much only. Okay. Here, what happened? First one, what happened? Magnesium reacted with steam. So magnesium oxide plus H2 gases evolved. Now, when magnesium reacted with hot water, right? Hot water, then what is obtained? Magnesium hydroxide plus H2 gases evolved. So this is magnesium hydroxide is formed. Magnesium hydroxide is formed. Okay. Now you may ask me why I am not writing plus heat energy, because in this, after this magnesium is here. So when we will come downward, in downward direction, the reactivity keeps on decreasing. So the reaction is not vigorous, not that vigorous as compared to sodium and potassium. Okay, so this is the thing. Now, next example we will see calcium plus H2O gives us CaOH whole 2 plus hydrogen gas. Here, calcium, okay, so when calcium reacts with water, we get calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. Don't forget, this is hydrogen gas. I have put arrow sign, means this is gas. So again, just revise it. Metal when react with water gives us hydroxide. Metal when reacts with steam gives us metal oxide. So this one. Now next thing we will see aluminium and, what do you think about aluminium and iron? They don't react with water. Okay. Aluminium and iron, they do not react with water, whereas they react with steam. Okay. So aluminium plus H2O gives us Al2O3 plus H2 gas. Al2O3 plus this H2O, I take it as gas. Okay, so this is 2, this is 3, this is 2. See here, aluminium and iron, they do not, both are metals, but they do not react with water. They react with steam. This is steam, that's why I have written G here, gaseous state. Okay, so aluminium plus water gives us Al2O3 plus hydrogen gas. Again, when any metal reacts with steam, we get metal oxide. Now Fe. Fe plus H2O, again gas, this is steam, gives us Fe2O3 plus H2 gas. Okay, Fe2O4, it will be oxide. Fe2O4 is this. So this will 4, this will be 4 to the 8, this will be 4, and this is 2. So iron when reacts with water, water means steam, gives us this ferric oxide plus hydrogen gas. So like this, these are the examples of reaction with water, reaction of metals with water. Now we will see metals like copper, silver and gold. metals like copper. See, when again we will refer this reactivity series. These two reacts vigorously with water as well as with oxygen also. Okay, vigorously with water. Okay, very reactive. Here, when we talked about aluminium and iron, they are not reacting with water, but they are reacting with steam. When we will come down, this copper, silver and gold. Copper, silver is Ag, copper is Cu, silver is Ag and gold is Au. They do not react with water. Do not react with water at all. They do not react with water at all. So, can you see the reactivity series? Yes. Okay, fine. Now, we will see how the non-metals react with water. How the non-metals react with water. You will be surprised to know that non-metals do not react with water. Like sulfur, carbon and so on, like sulfur, carbon, nitrogen, all these things, they do not react with water at all. Okay, but phosphorus, this is the only non-metal which reacts with air. Reacts highly with air. Highly with air. It reacts highly with air. Means it phosphorus, when exposed to air, it catches fire. So phosphorus is always stored inside water. Okay, phosphorus is always stored inside water because phosphorus is highly reactive with air. So, I hope today whatever is discussed is clear to you. We have seen how metals react with oxygen, how non-metals reacted with oxygen, then reaction of metals and non-metals with water. Thank you.